Melissa Bond will now read a poem that is dedicated to the football players. Can anyone really know the feeling of a Colbert County football player? All the pride and spirit inside in your players is hard to imagine. Do you remember before you played varsity football how proud it felt just to say you were an Indian fan and that you backed the Indians? And today you're part of that football team that you always looked up to and admired. You're part of that famous football team known all over Alabama. Yes, you're a part of that team that all other teams envy. Whenever someone mentions the Colbert County football team, your heart swells with pride because you know that they're talking about you. No other team can possibly feel the way you do because they don't have the tradition, unity, and winning history our school has. Every Friday night, you were ready to play with all your heart and soul because you knew that you were upholding a great tradition, and you knew you had all of those fans to back you. Now, I don't think anyone can know the pride in your hearts because your spirit, your school, and you are the meaning of unique. We will now turn the program over to Mr. Neiman, who will introduce our guest.
We're happy to have a number of people here today to help us celebrate this occasion. I notice a number of parents in the audience. Notice that we have our Indian here today, probably on the stage. And I think he did a great deal to cheer us on this year. The students, the support of our students this year was just tremendous. Our band, our cheerleaders, a great deal has to go to the team effort. And what I mean by the team effort, the cooperation of all that are involved. The coaches, a tremendous effort that they put forward. And above all, I would say the football boys themselves. We had a season that the young men just put forth the effort seemingly that was necessary to win. We had some close games this year, but when the going got tough, seemingly the tough got going. And they pulled forth together there, and all putting forth the effort there means a successful season. We have several people on the stage that represents our coaching staff. We have our superintendent here. We have some members of the Boosters Club here on the stage. We're happy to recognize them. Of course, our Executive Secretary of the Alabama High School Athletic Association and his associate, Coach Clem, a recent addition there to the Alabama High School Athletic Association. And I believe at this time it would be appropriate to ask any one of our guests, and particularly, I believe it would be most appropriate. He may not want to be on the program, but at least to say a word to you, students and patrons, teachers. I believe before we present our trophy, we'll ask our superintendent to just say a word. He wasn't expecting this, but we're happy to have him.
Indeed, it's a privilege for me to be here today. This is something that all of you in this auditorium had a part in. It's something that you can cherish for years to come. It's something that this football team will never forget. As many of you know, or you may not know, that I have been involved in athletics down through the years by participating and coaching for several years at Colbert Heights. I was involved with one team that was state basketball champion, but never a football team. But this is just a tremendous accomplishment. It's something that you can cherish, whether you're a student, teacher, coach, player, or whatever. It's something you can cherish in years to come, and it's just one of the greatest things to be able to say that you were a part of a state football championship. Again, let me say it's an honor for me to be here, and I don't want to take anything away from you or this team. Thank you.
Mr. Moore, I thank you. One of the things that I think Mr. Moore would say too there, and I've definitely noticed over the years, there is a spirit of pride that's instilled within our students. I was interviewed, I believe, was it last week? They did an interview and did a write-up in the paper. And one of the things that the paper asked, or the person interviewing me, wondering if there was any carryover from the sports program to the academic program. And I told the person definitely that where you take pride in the sports program, you will also have more pride in the academic program. I went on to tell the person that I was quite proud of the coaches and their attitudes. These young players back here know that one of the first things that they do after they receive their report card each 6 weeks is to carry it to their coaches. The coaches see it before the parents see the report card. And if the grades are not right, they let the young men know about it. So there is definitely a carryover on the part of the team. And I told the reporter there that it wasn't something that I did. I emphasized to all of our faculty, if it's worth doing at all, it's worth doing well. That has been my motto through the years. If we're going to do anything at all, we ought to do it well. And I believe that, and I believe that these young men back here would verify that, because they have produced a state championship team this year. And without any further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. Scott to come forward to make any comments that he would care to make, and to introduce his new co-worker that's with him today. Mr. Scott, Coach Scott, when I came to Crawford County High School, I tell you he was tough too when we played.
Thank you very much, Mr. Newman, and ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure for me to have this opportunity to be with you today. It is the responsibility and duty of me and my associate, Mr. Jimmy Cal, who has already been introduced to you, to officially proclaim Crawford County High School as the Class 5A 1985 state football champions. It's not a new thing for you. It's not a new thing for this community. Seeing these trophies that are lined on the stage, 2 former state football championship trophies, 2 former state basketball championship trophies, and then this trophy, which of course will make the 3rd state football championship trophy, and actually the 5th state championship trophy that you have here in football and basketball, is a tremendous accomplishment for this school. You've had a rich heritage. It goes back a long way. It involves an awful lot of people and an awful lot of real fine athletes and fine coaches. I remember C.T. Manley when he coached here, and I noticed his name is on your stadium. Mr. Newman and I go back a long way. As he told you, he's been a friend of mine for many years. Coach Creasy was playing football for Crawford County High School when I was coaching at Haleville. We used to travel here and play every other year, and Crawford County traveled to Haleville and played there every other year. I remember those days well, and it was always a real thrill and a pleasure to be associated with the people from this community. But it's been in more recent years than that this school has risen to the pinnacle of athletic greatness that it has. The students who have come through here and gone on to play college football have certainly made a good name for themselves, a good name for this school, and a good name for this community. But not only those players, but all the players that have had an opportunity to participate in this athletic program through the years have certainly received an awful lot from being a part of it. But you know, a successful athletic program is not made up of only a football team or a basketball team and a coach or coaching staff. It's made up of the entire student body, the faculty of the school, the parents of the young people, the entire community that backs it. And when you win a state championship, especially in the sport of football in the state of Alabama, then you've certainly done a terrific thing. We live in a football-oriented state. I didn't make it that way, and you didn't make it that way. It's been that way for a long, long time. Football is important in the lives of our people. Basketball is close behind it. But football is the king sport in this state. And when you win a state championship in one of the upper classes, in Class 6A, Class 5A, Class 4A, you've done a tremendous thing. You've done a tremendous thing to win it in any class. But when you get to the higher classes, it becomes doubly hard. There are a lot of real fine football teams and football programs in the state. And they play well and they perform well. You have an outstanding record. It's 13-1 overall. You came in the final game, defeated all of your opponents, and of course rose to the place where you are now. We're here today to congratulate the team, because certainly the team has performed well on the field. They've done the things that their coaching staff has asked them to do, and they performed well. This coaching staff, of course, has made great personal and individual sacrifices, just like the players have, in order to do the job that they did. So we have a special place in our hearts for guys who go out and give of themselves like the coaches do in order to make a fine group of young men like I see seated here behind me be the kind of champions that they are. But seeing this nice group of cheerleaders who are also seated on the stage, we're reminded of how important it is to have good school spirit, to display good sportsmanship, to have enthusiasm. Enthusiasm builds confidence in the individual. And I know from having won the state championship that this confidence and this enthusiasm was inspired by these young ladies. And then this fine band that we see seated down here, and I understand that for their number, that they made the greatest sound of anybody around. So we certainly congratulate you for that. We know that the band, the cheerleaders, the student body as a whole is what it's all about. You've won other state championships. You've won this state championship. But as Mr. Newman told you, and he alluded to a minute ago, the most important thing in school is the academic program. It's what you do in the classroom. You walk tall on the football field. You walk tall on the basketball court. You have a long history and a long heritage for that. You've also walked tall in the classrooms in the past. But every student here today can become a champion in his or her own right by doing the best job possible in the classroom. You have a wonderful faculty, as I stated a minute ago, or you wouldn't be the kind of school that you are. The faculty makes the school. It is the leaders. They have a real love for you as a student. They really care for you. They want you to do the right thing. They want you to do the best thing. Most of all, they want you to develop into a real champion in the classroom just like these young men have been real champions on the football field. One of the coaches jokingly when we came in today said it was a terrific coaching job to win the state championship with a bunch of guys like we see seated back here. But I tell you, as an outsider coming in and looking at all of these football players, it's one of the finest groups that I've seen anywhere in the state of Alabama. I want you to know that not only this school and this community is proud of these young men, but the entire state of Alabama is proud of this school and proud of these young men also. Now, Coach Greasy will come up, we'll make a presentation of the trophy. On behalf of the Alabama High School Athletic Association, it's a real privilege for me to present this trophy to Colbert County High School today, signifying the 1985 Class 5A football championship for the state of Alabama. I know that you will place this trophy along with these others that we see here in a prominent place in your school, and that everybody who sees it today or who may view it any time in the future will be reminded of the hard work, the sacrifice, the dedication, and the perseverance displayed by your entire coaching staff, all of these players that we see back here, this student body, and this entire community. Our congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Coach Scott. I say Coach Scott because I remember when I was in high school here as a student and a player, and we had to make that trip up to Haleville. He remembers it as a pleasant experience, but I don't. I would like to say one thing. I think that we had an unfair advantage in the playoffs because we got to play 5 home games. And I say that because even though we were on the road part of the time and played in a different stadium, we felt like, and from the noise you could hear and the spirit that was evident, that we had the home crowd on our side, and that had a lot to do with us winning the state championship. And I think you're to be congratulated out there, be congratulated for that. I'd like, everybody else up here I think has been introduced. I'd like to introduce our coaches that are here. Most of you know them, but I see some people out there that may not, that aren't students here and aren't here all the time. If you would, starting on the other end down there, Coach Jimmy Lockett, if you'll stand, please. Coach Ike Fowler. Coach Steve Mask. Coach Scotty Hannum. And one other coach that isn't here today is a volunteer coach that has helped us a whole lot, Coach Tommy Shell. I'd just like to say that it has been a real pleasure for me to be associated with these young men up here and with this school and faculty and students and the community. As Mr. Newman and Coach Scott have both said, a group of coaches or a group of players don't win championships. It takes a total community effort.
And I think we had that this year, and this is the result. Thank you. Oh, just one more minute. We have one other guest here today from that I think has a presentation or something. The Vice President of our Boosters Club, Mr. Hillard Smith.
Special gifts of people who work real hard with the football program, and one of them, Mr. Muff, is Nancy Crease. Will you come up, please?
These people coming. Most of the people on the stage have been introduced and had an opportunity to make a statement. I tell you, one person that's up here that I couldn't do without is my assistant, Mr. Greenhill. Others have for this program this year and for many years. Another recognition, I would like to recognize the media, our local papers, radio stations, television stations. They publicized and put these young men in the news there from time to time. We've had real good coverage. I've heard several people say this year that they thought that we had the best coverage that we've ever had, and certainly we express our appreciation to them for coming here and sharing with us today, as well as sharing with us in the school here, in the paper, over the radio stations, television stations, etc. Alice, I believe I said all I know. I'll turn it back to you.
If there's no more announcements, would the singers play Drive and Lead?
Hey, number one, muscle, number one. Hey, we was number one, can't be number two. Can't be number two. We gonna knock you up. Hey, y'all wait a minute. Right, baby. Hey, why you gonna be filming it? I want to right here, we got a big number. Big boss. Hey, film. I'll sign y'all.